typically when you work with a partner, you have a message, they have a message, and it's like, here we are, there you are. I'm like,
it's not
fantastic.
only unique to Equinix and Verizon, but it's the wave of the future to be working together, cross-pollinate between organizations and industries, and just see how you're able to give back, but also positively impact your business.
I think that we're doing great work together. We're one of the key parts of, I'll say, energizing this virtual highway. So I feel like, again, working together, we're making a difference in those businesses and that are struggling right now or trying to accelerate, their original plan. They're both so unimaginable. I think that, if you said, could you ever imagine this happening in your lifetime? You would say, no. 9/11 was definitely one of those events. And as we stand here today in this global pandemic, there's so much that's happening around us. It's almost hard to get your head around, right? I think that what I saw in 9/11, if I could draw a parallel to it, it was, we found a different way to work together and partner. We did this in a working environment and technology, where there were times and there were competitors. There were no longer competitors after 9/11. There were days that we said, okay, it doesn't matter if you're from XYZ company, ABC, we don't care. If we can find a way to work together to deliver something, to help a customer, right, and help their business, right, and give them the outcome that they need, we're going to do it. We're just gonna get it done.
How can corporations take social responsibility and internalize, make it a corporate social responsibility? Mm-hmm. And I want to pose this question to you. Why is that even important? Why should companies prioritize society apart from the bottom line for themselves?
Yeah, it is a great question because it didn't used to be that way. Corporations just functioned on their own and they did their business and made their money and sold their widgets, right? I'll say, or service, right? I think it's so important. I think it's such a different culture to be part of. When your company prioritizes what's important in the world at a more global level, not only your environment, but your social responsibility, your people, right? Diversity, inclusion, and belonging. We hear this often. It creates a different culture environment that I've never, I feel truly blessed every day when I stand at Equinix that I'm part of that. And there are so many other companies that are equally on the same path, right? Verizon is one of them. The best part about business nowadays, it's not just doing business, but it's also making a difference in all perspectives. So I think it becomes critical. It's just, it feels great to come to work and know that you're making a difference along with, helping your customers. So NEGU stands for Never Ever Give Up. It's a Jessie Reese Foundation, and it really supports encouraging kids and supporting kids that are faced with cancer. So it's kids and children that are faced with probably the most difficult thing imaginable, and this organization kind of wraps their arms around it and provides support either through cards, sometimes through joy jars. I have one here. So this is mine. This is from some friends, but I keep it here because I always think, if you ever have a day that's rough, you'd like to know someone's behind you. So it's the same thing with NEGU, that again, it's the note letting somebody know that there's somebody behind them, especially in these difficult times with COVID. What happens in COVID now with these type of kids is that you can't have those parents that are those great parents who've been supporting the whole time come to see them at the same time. There's a lot of restrictions on how many people can visit. And a lot of the New York hospitals, there's only one person that can come at a time. And that's really so difficult. I mean, when these kids are looking for mom and dad or their brothers and sisters, or they've had groups of people come, or they've played games, now they get one individual. There are times that floors even get really difficult and hospitals get difficult and restrictions are put on them. So they're isolated. Sometimes it takes more than one thing to get us through difficult times in life. But I'll share the one that I think is really important. And it came with a story. And the story is what I remember. And again, it really had an impact in my life. So it's about perspective. And I think right now in these challenging times, perspective is so critical. right? It's so easy to lose perspective, and then when we lose perspective, all the impact and the negative impact it has for us when we start to worry and think about, what if, right? So someone shared a real quick story with me, and they basically said, think of your life as a book. And I said, okay, fine, I'm a book. And they said, think about it as everything you go through in your life is a chapter. Maybe when you grew up as a child, it was a chapter. Maybe you got married, maybe you had kids, maybe another chapter. There's a bunch of chapters in the books. And in those chapters, there's words and paragraphs. So this moment and this time in COVID is just one section, one paragraph in that book that's yours. So if you think about that, we just need to keep going, and you keep writing it, and there'll be a next chapter. You've already had great chapters. So perspective is everything. It's the one thing that you can keep with you is perspective. You'll stay grounded in today. You'll be mindful today. And again, it'll give you a lot of hope for the future, because there's all those pages out there that you haven't written in.
At Verizon, we have our 3 pillars: digital inclusion, climate protection, and human prosperity. And within Verizon, we have employee resource groups focus on the 4 C's, which are career, customer, community, and culture. And I know Equinix has similar pillars, and there's definitely
it aligns pretty evenly. So our organization that has 4 different areas of corporate sustainability. We have environment, we have people, governance, and community. Community is the area that we focus on doing a lot of our volunteering, and we have a lot of our volunteerism, and we call it impact events, because we like to go out there and make an impact in a certain group or foundation, and be part of a foundation.
The fact that we're able to find a charitable organization that our 2 companies can get behind and to support one another, from a corporate level, but also to support those kids that are, suffering from cancer. And to just hear the story of Jessie Reese.
What I found so inspirational about the story is that, after she found out she had cancer, she was more focused on what she could do to help others. Even in her hardest hours, probably that were her most challenging, she was still thinking about others and what she could do. So I think that's a great inspiration for us to take, in the challenging days that we're faced with in COVID, what can we do? What can we do to help others? And how can we help these kids? And everybody has paper and pens and markers available. So I'm sure we can all improvise in our homes and do this virtually and get the cards out.
I'm the Global Communications Chair. And when I heard this, I was like, this is it. We are going to get the word out about this, because this is so important. And I knew that Verizon had their 2.5 million hours. That's a commitment that we as a V team said we're going to accomplish by 2025. And if Wave and if myself and if you and I can have this conversation and then expand it to 150,000 people between our 2 companies, the sky's the limit at that point. Like you said, 10,000 cards. Not only is it not a huge amount for our companies to tackle, it probably doesn't even make a dent into the amount of kids that are suffering right now, right? And that's assuming that one kid gets 1 card. And I would want each kid to get 10 cards. So thank you for extending the offer to Verizon. And I'm counting on my fellow V-teamers to really have my back and share this on their networks and make sure that we get out there, we get the message out.
That's great. That's great. I think between the V team and the Equinix team and everyone we know, I think we're going to make a big difference.
Everyone associates, right, volunteerism as something that you're giving to someone else, and you're a noble person for doing it. But at the end of the day, it's a positive byproduct that comes from the volunteerism.
Yeah, it's just a great outcome, right? You don't go into it looking for it, but it just winds up there. It's like a wonderful surprise.